Introduction to the program Photopea. It is spelled Photopea like the vegetable, PEA, that's it. And if you just go to photopea.com, it takes you right to it. When you first open it, the window pretty much just looks like this. It will have some ads on the side, and that's because it's free, but we're not going to worry about using those ads. So let me just take you to a couple of very important things. When you first open Photopea, you have a splash screen like this because you're about to begin working. So you might actually have um, the ability to create a new project. That means creating a blank project or open a project that you worked on, like a photograph, opening a photograph and then editing that photograph. What we're going to do is we can click New Project or go to the File menu and choose New. And then we get a window here where we get to choose the size or choose a template um, of a document we want to create. Because in this class we're working with printed materials, we're actually going to switch things to inches. And for now, let's just make something that's pretty standard, maybe like a square that's 5 by 5 inches. So if you notice, I am entering 5 inches by 5 inches. I'm leaving that DPI alone for now, but later on we will worry about this. And then I'm going to hit create. And so now I have a document that is about 5 inches by 5 inches. You can see that in this ruler that I have turned on over here. You can always turn on the ruler by doing Control R on your keyboard, and then you can measure the document that you're working on. Sometimes the rulers might be set to pixels, and so you'll see a lot more numbers. If I right click, I can choose inches, and this is it. Alright, so like I said, when we make a new document, brand new document, then it's blank. There's nothing there other than as if I were going to actually paste something or draw something in it. And so on the left side, very important, is let's have a look at these tools. There's a lot of little tools that lets us do really cool stuff here. Whenever I click on a tool up at the top, each tool has different settings. So if you notice, every time I click on a tool, the top changes and it shows different settings depending on the tool I select. So if I want to, for example, draw, and I click on the brush tool, up at the top I see the settings for what kind of brush I want to use, the size of the brush, the hardness and thickness of the brush, how opaque it is, etc., etc. And then it's a matter of just clicking and drawing on the screen. Down at the bottom, I've got my color picker. So this down here, I can click on the foreground color and I get a color picker. And I can choose the hues here and the values, whether I want something very saturated, whether I want something that's a lighter value like a tint or a tone, or what do I want. And then I click OK. Now if I drag with that brush again, I get a different color. So again, that's clicking down here and then choosing the hues and then the value, and you can paint with different colors. Now over on the right side, there's a panel here called History. When you start a brand new document, it's empty. So if I make a new document right now and I just create it, you notice there's nothing in the history. But as soon as you start drawing something, it keeps track of something you do. So let's say that if you ever make a mistake about something, you can always go back and click on the previous thing, so it'll undo the last mistake you did. So you can make multiple changes, and every time you do something different, it keeps track right here of your history of the things that you've done, and you can go backward. Now you got to be careful though that if you go far back and then you make a change, then you can no longer restore the things that you did after. So you also have to be aware of that. And finally, I want to talk about layers. Layers allow us to work with multiple objects at the same time. So right now, for example, everything I'm drawing here is on the same layer. So it's like it's on the same paper or the same page. And if I wanted to move it, everything is together, right? But if I want to make a new layer, I actually go down here to the bottom and click here for new layer. And now I have on top a transparent layer, and I can draw here a different color just so you could tell the difference. And if I then use the move tool, which is the tool up here at the top, I can actually move this object without affecting the one underneath. So you can have multiple things on top of each other as long as they're in different layers. Okay. When I'm done working with something in this program, I have to download it to my computer, or I can save it to my Google Drive. If I simply just go File and then Save as PSD, this will save to my computer. It'll save it to the Downloads folder. But before I ever do that, it's very important that you give your files a name. And the way you do that is by double clicking the title up here. And I will call this Practice Drawing 1. And then I'll click OK. I also suggest you put your name on it so that you can tell it apart from other people's work. Once you've given it a name, you can go to the File menu and choose Save as PSD. And as soon as you do that, it's going to ask you to allow to download this document, and sure enough, it downloads it to the computer. Now, in the computer, if I go to the Downloads folder, we know the Downloads folder, there's my practice drawing, right? I do not want my files to stay in the Downloads folder, so remember that you have to then move them out of here and put them in the folder on the desktop. See, I don't even have a folder on the desktop, so do not forget that you need to have your own folder on the desktop. And then I'm going to put that file in there. That way I don't have to worry about other people's work getting mixed up. So that is a quick introduction to Photopea, just to get you started.